All right, good evening, friends, and welcome back to Bourbon Blog Live. It's our nightly live show here where we talk whiskey, cigars, just everything good. It's my good friend, Drew Estate Cigar Ambassador Matty Rock, joining us from the East Coast. How are you, buddy?
Hey, brother, I'm doing well, my man. How we feeling today?
It's good to see you too, brother, and doing great. And so I've been looking forward to this all week. It's always something I look forward to, the chance to sit down and have one of your fine or a couple of your fine smokes with you, and found some whiskeys and even a cocktail to pair with this tonight. So what's been happening? I had you on a few weeks ago. What's been happening since then with you?
Absolutely nothing, thanks to our friend COVID.
Right.
Pretty much the same thing. You know, I've learned to speak squirrel in my free time. Living the quarantine life. You know, since I'm a fat guy, I still find all the local places that you can pick up and get food from, but different world, my brother, different world out here.
Yes. Excellent. No, I feel you. I feel you. Well, we are beginning out with quite an amazing smoke here that I'm sure a number of viewers are familiar with. The Liga Privada number 9 is
yes,
what
sir,
I have.
Yes, sir.
What you have there too.
Toasting that up as we speak right here. And
very nice.
Very nice. All those know the Liga 9. You got your Connecticut broadleaf Maduro, so you have a nice medium full, natural hints of sweetness. Definitely one of my favorites. This was actually mine. I just pulled out of a tubo, so it was a tubo size.
Yes.
Grab that. I think most of the DE peeps know that, but that came out of the tube.
Nice.
I believe you're chewing on a Robusto.
Yes, I have the what do I have? I have a Toro Oscuro.
Yep, perfecto,
yes. And I'll just say this too, as I see Will Coyle joining us, as you are watching from Twitter, from YouTube, from Facebook. Like this video, sharing it. We want to have a great conversation, bring in a lot of great people. And if you have any questions at all for Matty or myself,
I can't see anything, man.
You can't see that. I'll let you know. You can see me. I'll let you know what the questions are. We look forward to a great conversation here with you. But this is a really popular one that you guys have, and I'm really I'm excited to try this. We made what's called a Robert Burns cocktail, which has we put some of the Macallan double cask in that, along with some absinthe that I'm a big fan of, the Redu absinthe from. It's actually from Colorado, from the Golden Moon Distillery in Colorado, and just a little bit of bitters. It's really lovely. I thought it would go really nicely with this kind of bold smoke, and it's really working really nicely so far.
Right on.
What are you sipping on any root beer there tonight, or what are you trying?
Actually, let me show you the guy here. I'm finishing toasting this because it's getting a little windy out here. But like I said, you are the adult beverage connoisseur.
That's
I
right.
am the non-alcoholic beverage connoisseur. So for those that know, a little Manhattan special, a little espresso coffee. That's right, espresso coffee. So for me, those espresso notes, that little bit of bitterness on the espresso coffee, drop that with the paired sweetness of the Liga 9. I'm loving it. So that was my go-to choice this evening. Tom, I know you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. So the next time you come visit, there'll be cheers. You will have some.
Cheers, buddy. It's good to see you. It's always fun
brother.
Toasting to you. Cheers. Absolutely. And is that an espresso coffee soda? Is it kind of a mixture of the two?
Correct. It goes back a long time. I think it's from the late 1800s. Great drink. You can find it. If you have your Italian eateries out there, you can go find it. And like I said, That's something I love. You and I have talked about it before. If you're smoking something infused and you go after a Tabacco Special and you got the coffee with the coffee stuff, that kind of knocks it out of the park.
Coffee and coffee together. Tell us down below what you all, as you are watching, what you're smoking, what you're drinking, whether it's a soda, whether it's, I always like learning about new sodas, whether it's a cocktail, a whiskey. And that one's actually, that particular soda is is it made in Manhattan then?
Yeah, still made and produced in Manhattan.
Still made in Manhattan.
Like I said, nice old school beverage. And like I said, you get to partake in the adult drinks. I get the non-adult drinks that usually come with kiddie straws, but this stuff is on par, man. If you're a coffee guy, like I said, going with cigars is great. Like I said, that little bit bitterness notes that you get on the end of that espresso, no different than a regular espresso, except it's carbonated and it's soda. So,
it helps to accentuate some of those. I mean, I'm already getting a little bit of a coffee kind of a roasted coffee note on the cigar, but it's kind of accentuating that.
Yep, and you'll get those natural sweet notes on there as well. Like I said, nines are one of my go-tos. I'm a Maduro guy. You know, looking at the wrapper, you can tell this is a nice jet dark Escudo. Great smoke, definitely something that's in the top of my lineup.
No, this is beautiful, Matty, and the Liga Privada line, of course, really wonderful line there from Drew Estate. Tell us what makes this cigar special, and a bit about the background of this cigar.
Pretty much anything that you get across the Liga line. So anybody that knows Drew Estate knows that pretty much there's something for every smoker. Whether you're mild and infused to excuse me, to traditional. When you have the Liga Privada line, that entire series is obviously the upper echelons of what's produced over in Nicaragua over there. And whether you're smoking a 9, whether you're smoking a T52, whether you're smoking an L40, which is a Lancero, there's going to be something that's part of that group that you're really going to enjoy. Anybody out there who's smoking them, you know, they love going across the line, but everyone kind of has their favorite. So for me, I'm a 9 guy. The next Liga that you and I puff up together will be an L40 because I do like my Lanceros.
Oh yeah, I like Lanceros too, and there's a number of Lanceros that Drew Estate especially does in their lineup. From what I've seen, you all really focus on those. There's something.
Well, the one that you and I talked about is that you saw that Drew Estate put out the BOTL. So
yep.
There's a special edition Lancero for that. Herrera Esteli has one as well.
Right.
I believe you and I smoked that one together.
Yes.
And the one we have not smoked together yet is an L40. So after the apocalypse ends and you're back in New York, we'll smoke an L40 together.
What's it looking like there? I mean, obviously, I'm here right on the border of Indiana, Kentucky. You're there, New Jersey. What are you seeing in the?
So it's, as you can tell, it's dead. There's nothing going on out here, legitimately. And this is usually a main road, 8 o'clock at night, and there's really just about nobody on it. I will say though that the no pollution in this area, you can tell the difference. You look at that sky behind me. So, I try to look for the silver lining and everything, and you look, it's just, it's beautiful out. Super clear.
Clearer than you've seen in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. There's places that you can literally go and see New York from 25, 30 miles away that you might have had some difficulty seeing, 2 months ago. Right. Not the case anymore. So if you're in scenery and for pollution, it's definitely made a dent in fixing that.
Are you getting the feeling in the greater New York area that things are getting better? I mean, whether it's the news or what you're hearing, what's your general feeling?
Honestly, I try to stay away from the news as much as possible, and I try to just get as many facts as I can. But people are split in the way that they treat what's going on. And a perfect idea, as I told you earlier, I took a drive into Hoboken today, and just to go see the city, see how clear it was. People were not social distancing over there.
Wow. So
there are people, so you shake your head. So it's like, come on, man, I'm tired of being cooped up and bottled up. So everybody get in this together, do your thing, and then we can all get back to living our lives the way we want to. So it's crazy. So like I said, it's crushing New York. You've seen the pictures. I have friends that still go into the city from time to time, and it's dead. Things you would never imagine in a million years. So, and
you really haven't been outside of New Jersey since this whole thing began. You've been right there, haven't you?
Yeah. Yep. I haven't left. Mm-hmm. I live 16 miles outside of Manhattan. Bergen County over here is pretty hard hit with it if you look at the numbers. And for the most part, people are behaving. I've not had a waffle stomp a number 2. There's been enough toilet paper after all the people hoarding and everything else. Supply chains are open. There's food. So there's nothing crazy like that people were jumping up and down. If you're patient, you'll get your supplies.
Right.
I said, it's just obviously everything else is shuttered down. You have, I'd say, about 30% of the restaurants in the community stayed open. They'll either can pick it up. Delivery is still there. So things like that. But, obviously no more sit down, no nothing.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
All the other stores are closed. So I believe it'll be this way here until a minimum of May 15th. And I believe both the governor of New York and New Jersey will probably have a little powwow to discuss if it goes any further. So my guess is probably won't be May 15th. I'm going to say probably June 1st we'll open up over here.
Well, I'm glad I got to see you before I left New York. It was we spent some time there at the was it Hoboken Cigars, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was
a joint, man. Next time you're in town, I'll take you around to some of the other local shops. So we got to go visit Sanj so we could go get beat up by Sanj. It's always fun. That's my boy. So I call it the smoking a ridicule. There ain't nothing better than that.
No, it was a good time. Great cigar place. And of course, we've been enjoying cigars here at BourbonBlog headquarters, which you're seeing right behind me. I was actually just hosting tastings, some whiskey tastings there in New York, and a cigar tasting I did in that was in Connecticut, and having some good times. But of course, I've not been doing my whiskey education thing on the road. I've been here interviewing another great guest like you every night, and we're doing this every night of the quarantine here on BourbonBlog Live. And it's so great to have you back on here with yet another great smoke to try. Talk about the evolution of the cigar. As I'm smoking this, I don't know, we're going to go to another one here in a moment, but what flavors do you get as you go along on the cigar?
Like I said, in this one, you're going to get medium, full body, but smooth, rich. You're going to get some of those sweet cocoa notes from the Maduro wrapper, and you notice you'll get a little bit, just a little bit of spice, nothing overpowering. So that's what I tell people. Once as cigar smokers begin to mature and their palates begin to mature, when they start to go for a stronger cigar, or they want to move up a little bit, the 9 is something I'll tell them to go to. So it's not something, you and I have spoken about a feral pig, and it's strong, robust, and meaty. But for somebody who doesn't smoke a lot of strong cigars, it could put them on their butt. And honestly, man, League of Nine's not going to put you on your butt at all.
No, it's
even with it being full body. Like I said, you denote the hints of sweetness that are on there. Like I said, very, very little hints of spice, nothing overpowering. Very, very mature blend.
The more I'm getting into this, I am getting more of that sweetness. It took a good, I guess we've been at it maybe 8-9 minutes, but I am getting more of that cocoa, that a little bit of dark chocolate coming through against that coffee. Which, though I am loving this recipe, and I will post the recipe for everybody that wants to know it, but I will tell you what it is. It's 2 ounces of scotch, 3/4 of an ounce of vermouth. It is a dash of orange bitters and a dash of absinthe, and I believe we use Montenegro in place of the sweet vermouth.
I think you're going to have to post your nightly concoctions for the group.
I'm going to put, I've been trying to find more and more good cocktails that pair nicely with cigars, and it's always fun to look for something in a cocktail that's layered, that has some of those elements, some of that spice, some of that really luscious, those luscious tones, much like the absinthe is bringing on. Just really kind of diving into that cigar, bringing up a little bit more spice, a little bit more sugar. This one works nicely, but I am going to see here. I have a few in front of me that I think will really stand up nicely. Now, this is a really lovely bottle, Matty. This is a very limited edition Jefferson's, which has been finished in Chateau Pichon Baron casks. It's a Bordeaux winery that Thomas Jefferson actually visited in his lifetime.
And of course, you say,
being French, the French, those wineries go on forever. This winery is still around, and they were able to get some barrels from this winery that Thomas Jefferson visited, which it's named after, Jefferson's. And they finished a very old bourbon in this wine barrel from Pichon Baron. So it's really beautiful. It has a lot of those wine tones. I love finished bourbons when it comes to finding bourbons that almost have an elegant cocktail-like experience, that have some of those wine notes like you might get on a good vermouth. And to me, finished bourbons, deep scotches, also deeper bourbons go so nicely with a cigar like this. I'm gonna do a little sip of this.
Yeah, it's gonna bring out all those keynotes.
Oh yeah. Oh, yes. That is nice.
I, of course, will live vicariously through you.
Well, that soda looks pretty nice, too. I can't wait to try one of those. Hey, look, we got our buddy. And he always asks about you. We got our buddy Dave Girton watching. He's saying hi to you.
Hey, Matty. David, how are you, my brother?
He was excited to hear we're going to be on. It's good to see you, Dave. And Dave's tried this with me. He knows how good this one is. The Jefferson's Chateau Pichon Baron. So thanks for watching, Dave. And for a few friends watching on Twitter, Will Coyle watching on Facebook is trying a little bullet rye and some Pepsi. Yes, guys, thanks for tell us down below what you're trying. Like this, share it. We love questions. It's fun to hear about what other people like when it comes to cigar and whiskey pairings. What are you seeing? You know, you go to a lot of pairing events for cigars. What are you really seeing people getting into when it comes to whether it's cocktails, wine? What have the trends been lately? What do you think?
It's kind of funny. So, I've been around this for 2.5 decades. So it's funny. Each evolution within the liquor industry, you get to watch that same evolution happen with what people are drinking and smoking together. So as you and I know, first it was the craft beers and everybody matching and pairing the craft beers that go together.
Right.
And then you and I very well know, with especially I'd say the last 4 to 5 years, especially, here we are with the bourbons, the ryes, the whiskeys. So it's really kind of cool to watch. So I've seen all these different evolutions of what people are drinking and smoking together, depending on what's come to marketplace and what that particular boon has brought on. And obviously, 10 years before that, remember, it was all about the wine. You had all your wine movies, everything else. Right. Sideways was huge. So it's pretty cool. And I got to tell you, I enjoy seeing that kind of stuff. I enjoy it because it keeps showing you the evolution of people's palate, what they smoke. Then even, like I said, now you have coffees. So you've been to our event where we have these 2 guys. I think I introduced them to you already, the Bates brothers, Shad and Shay. And they do coffee at these Drew Estate events. And what goes better with either, a nice coffee than a Tabacco Special, either a Negra if you're into the little stronger with the Maduro wrapper, or you're going to go have your Connecticut shade wrapper. So it's great, man, that, the evolution of all this, there's so many different ways you can enjoy and whatever pleases your palate at that moment.
Absolutely. No. And this is funny. Somebody said they can hear the woodpecker in the background. So, I'm outside. This is a very authentic, they said that damn woodpecker. They can see this is the true studio. Now, for a while, it was port wines. Everybody wanted to do, I think it was more than 90s people wanted to do port wines. Do you see people doing that still?
I do, but again, not the way that,
right.
I don't like using the word fad. I like using the word evolution, whatever is big in the wine and spirits and liquor industry. So, yeah, but you still see a lot of people with the wines. Like if you have a spicy cigar, I've even seen people pop open a bottle of Chianti. For people who dig that, even Drew Estate even has something to go with that. They have something that's called the One. That's part of the acid line, and that's cast with Chianti. So you talk about pairings. You have your glass of Chianti that pairs up with an acid one that's infused with Chianti.
It actually has some of the acid one, so the Chianti actually goes right into that.
Correct. So that's one of those I got to make sure that you and I smoke together. Great smoke, interesting. Like I said, for those who go for a nice Chianti or something else, or anything, obviously anything with a bite, right, is going to go with that one because you get that spiciness of the Chianti. Yep. So I'm sure you have some Italians from my area going, Matty, have it with a good grappa, baby. So.
It looks like Dave has his sound on now. We'll do another toast to Dave. I don't think he had his sound on a moment ago. It's good to see you, Dave. And he said, Dave, I know Dave likes the port. Chad Harvey watching as well. Chad, thanks for watching. Matty trying some Manhattan Special. Special, is that what they call it?
I feel like I'm having my giant 40-0. I feel like I'm 18 hiding in the park. Hey, guys, how you doing?
I do like the Kangol, man. I like that, Matty.
That in my brain, it's still 1988. So
it's good stuff.
That's all my last 2 existing brain cells come up with.
Now, you said about port and coffee. There is a cocktail, I will have to look it up, that I worked with a mixologist on, that is a blend of port and coffee. And I believe we even put a touch of cream in that. It was a brunch cocktail. And then we whipped it up, I think, in the blender. Might have been, I don't know if it was, I think we did it cold. I can't remember. But I'm going to look that up because I'm thinking that might be a good pairing for the tobacco.
Yeah, and I think that the next thing I'll make sure that you smoke that up. We'll do that together. And obviously, I'm a coffee whore too, so I'll make sure I'm drinking here with my coffee while you have your adult type beverage with it.
Yes, I have been seeing Shad from is it Colorado? I'm forgetting. Shad, the one that does the coffees, your friend.
Shad and Shay. Yep.
Shad and Shay.
It's probably Shad. It's probably Shad. Yep.
I've been seeing him tune in, which has been awesome, and I'm excited to try his coffees. Now, let's see here. Somebody did want to know. They want to see it one more again. time. The Dean 12. What's the Manhattan bottle? You just drink up. Show that one more time.
Dean. So if you're from the New York, New Jersey area, especially New York City, old school drink. I do not imbibe in adult drinks, so I have craft sodas and things like that. So it's actually an espresso soda. So it's pure espresso, literally cane sugar, and that's it. There's literally, I don't know if you can see the bottles, almost no ingredients in there. So kind of, that's it. So old school. It's been around since the late 1800s. And like I said, sadly enough, it looks like I'm just kicking back with the 40. So I'm a little bit proud of myself. You know,
I love the old school sodas.
The Mad Dog 2020 days, sir.
That's what it looks like. And I'm doing the Jefferson's Grand Selection, the Pichon Baron variety. It's aged in a used Bordeaux red wine barrel. Just incredible stuff. Again, for those of you just joining us, it's Matty Rock. He is ambassador for Drew Estate Cigars, my good friend. We always are trying some good cigars. I'm finding some good cocktails. He's finding some great sodas. If you have any questions, ask them below. Dean likes the Jefferson's is great as well. Completely agree. And this Pichon Baron, the more I'm getting those wine notes, the more it's just doing some really flavorful things, bringing up those robust notes, more of that sugar, just a good back note with that wine for those sugary tones. The cocoa that you were talking about, dark chocolate. This is a great
audience out there. I just got a text. Are they able to find this on Instagram?
Are they able to find this particular broadcast? The best place to tell them to go is BourbonBlog.com/live. So that will take them to the Facebook. It's not on Instagram. We did it originally on Instagram, but if they go on to our Twitter /BourbonBlog, they can do it. But BourbonBlog.com/live is the best place to bookmark. As you're all of you watching this right now, every night. Tomorrow we're doing an afternoon edition, but every time
BourbonBlog.com live, right?
BourbonBlog.com/live. That's right. So that will always be the latest live video we've done or the one we are about to do. Tomorrow we're doing an afternoon edition with some of my good friends from Blood, Sweat, and Tears Vodka from Oregon. And they're going to be providing some interesting vodkas for a Bloody Mary mix from North Carolina. So we're doing a little afternoon cocktails for brunch, for Sunday brunch. And but every night, 8 p.m. Eastern, BourbonBlog.com/live. And that also goes to Twitter and to YouTube. So all kinds of great places that we're streaming this on. We haven't stopped streaming. Every day we've got at least one or two lives.
I know Glenn had a question for you.
Yes, did Glenn have a question? Good. Did I see Glenn's question?
Just came up. Fire away, Glenny boy.
Fire away. Yes, I see. Glenn said, "Oh, now hopefully I saw the question."
He's typing away. I know he is.
He's typing away. I'm looking forward to the question. Very good. Well, what are you all? I'm wondering. I feel like some of these people watching probably are smoking or sipping something. So we're excited to hear what you all are trying. We're going to try a little bit more of
today. I'm sure it's probably a little bit more exciting than what I'm drinking. So let's hear what you're fired up, what you're drinking today.
Now, I did see several of those. I think this whole coffee soda thing, when I was at the International Restaurant Show of New York, the same week I saw you about a month and a half or so ago, I did see, because it has a coffee expo inside of this expo. I saw several coffee sodas that are popping up. Are they becoming, you think, a bigger and bigger thing? Is that a bigger thing with coffee now, and just the coffee sodas?
You know what? Unfortunately, no. I have not. No. I've not really seen it. Years ago, I actually had a contract with PepsiCo in Valhalla, New York, and they were trying to launch something called Pepsi Kona, and I loved it. They never they tested it and it never stuck in the market. So
yes,
for right now, it's kind of like Manhattan Special really owns it. I really haven't seen too many other ones that are out there, and like I said, I love it. It's going to be for a very particular palate. I've been drinking it, since my teens. So something I always liked and enjoyed. I tell people to go give it a shot. Again, if you're outside the area, you probably have to go hit an Italian specialty store. I'd have to look to see if they sell it online. But again, if you like that stuff, it's definitely worth checking out, trying at least once if that's your bag.
Oh, that's amazing. I remember similarly, we were talking about Pepsi. Someone was having Pepsi and Bullet. I know Coca-Cola did a similar product like Pepsi did called Coca-Cola Black in about 06 or 07.
Yep. I recollect. And it didn't make it. Yep.
It didn't make it, and I actually really liked the Coke Black. I thought it was extremely good. It had
I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's for a particular palate. Yeah. I'd like to see it come up. Up there's Glenn's question. He's asking you about Mic Drop.
Mic Drop.
Where's Glenn? Hold on, let me go screen back up there.
Is that a
what about the Mic Drop? What's up with that? He's looking to get some of it at a good price.
I'm going to search for you. Maybe we can find out. Have you seen any there, Matty?
Mic Drop? No. Be honest, I don't. Ever since I got rid of the club, I don't really look too much at alcohols or any of the new stuff. I kind of let my people tell me. So I haven't had an item, but Glenny boy knows his booze. So
yes, I'm gonna look and see if we can find that, and I'll actually reach out to you, Glenn, and let you know. Now the Dean 12 did just tell us I'm smoking an Undercrown Maduro. Oh, nice. Ironically, with an E.H. Taylor single. E.H. Taylor is a great bourbon that comes out of Buffalo Trace. So that's
well played.
How do you like that pairing, Dean? I bet he's enjoying that. Will's also reminding us, it's fun to talk because I like all kinds of beverages. Will's also reminding us about Crystal Pepsi. Remember Crystal Pepsi?
Yep, the clear Pepsi. I do.
Did they bring that back briefly in the last couple of years? I feel like I saw that someplace.
They did, and it was funny because people who loved it kind of were hoarding it, so I laughed. It was kind of like the toilet paper of Pepsi. So a couple people were happy when they saw it come back. They ran in and they hoarded a couple cases.
All this 80s stuff, and of course they on Stranger Things. Are you a Stranger Things fan, Matty?
Honestly, man, I'm pathetic with watching stuff and streaming. So we have every possible thing. There's Amazon Prime and there's friggin' Netflix and Hulu. And they're like, "What do you watch?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm bitter. There's no sports, so I don't watch anything."
Right,
so
right.
Every now and then I'll catch a movie. I think the last thing I watched all the way through was Breaking Bad, and now I'm watching Better Call Saul.
Oh, Better Call Saul, so good. We actually saw that guy that a couple years ago at Derby. I got to interview I can't think of his name. He's from Indiana, but the guy that played the cop and the brother-in-law in Breaking Bad. Great guy. Had a nice conversation with him at Derby, which a week from today would actually be Kentucky Derby Day. But of course, it has been postponed until September. So we always enjoy lining up with a good cigar on Kentucky Derby Day. Do you watch the Derby? Are you
no? Nope.
Can you think of a good of your collection? What would be like? What do you think the ultimate Derby cigar to light up as the Derby begins? If we're watching,
I mean, you're talking about a classic event over a century old. Geez, I'd probably go into some of my. Which I'll take a few pictures. Some of the original Ligas that I'm lucky enough to have some of the samples of. So I'd probably break out something like that.
Break out a Liga.
For an event the specials that, I'd probably knock out something like that. If it was a really bad event, I'd bring out a cigar that I made in Nicaragua. So those nobody wants to smoke on purpose.
Now, the fun part is for next week, even though there will be no Derby until September, there still is going to be a virtual race, which we're learning more about. The title sponsor of Derby, Woodford Reserve, is doing a bunch of events, making cocktails to make sure you feel like you're part of it. And NBC is re-airing some past Derbies. So for those of you watching, if you're a Derby fan like I am, I've been covering it as a journalist for the last about 13 years or so. I'm there on the red carpet. It's a lot of fun. We're seeing great people, whether it's celebrities, politicians, just people dressed up crazy, having fun. We do a lot of stories on that on BourbonBlog. But log on to BourbonBlog.com because we will be able to show you what's being planned for next week. And then, of course, we'll be there in September. But we'll find one of these good cigars.
We might have to have you light up a Kentucky Fire Cured.
I think that might make sense. Yes, a Kentucky Fire. That might be my Derby light up cigar. I think that's right.
So we'll figure out exactly which Kentucky Fire Cured needs to be lit up. That'll
be my Derby cigar. Just as the virtual race begins, I like it, and we're looking forward to. And hopefully, Dave will be able to join us there. The Kentucky Fire Cured you guys do is it Paducah?
Well, now we don't know exactly.
We don't know the dates, right?
So I tell everyone, keep their eye on barnsmoker.com as we try to figure out the new world we live in. dates will
Right.
come up. I really don't want to be given any dates right now because we don't know.
Sure. Makes
Local
complete.
government, who knows?
No, it makes complete.
I don't even pretend. They're like, do you know what's going on? I'm like, absolutely not. I have zero. Whatever is less than zero is what I know.
Whatever. Now, okay, Will Coyle said he's also a fan of Jefferson's. He has a little bit of Ocean left. Thanks, Jeff, for watching. I'm a big Ocean fan. It's the bourbon that's on the back of a boat, a big cargo ship, and it's rocking around. It's seeing the sides of that barrel. The actual barrels are put on the back of the boat, and Ocean is amazing, and it is one of my favorites. What is he? Dean's talking about, I believe. Oh, here's Dean's pairing with the E.H. Taylor, and was it the Maduro we had, the Undercrown? Yes.
Yeah, you see, he was puffing on an Undercrown.
Very much chocolate caramel notes of the cigar, and bourbon is very smooth. It is the E.H. Taylor is single barrel, something very special.
What size you smoking, Dean?
Maybe Dean will tell us. Yes, Dave is saying good to see us both. He'll do his best to join us. We look forward to seeing you, Dave. And I think that
right on, Dave.
Dean is suggesting now I'm glad we're getting quite a few people watching from all over YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. He's suggesting a flying pig for next week, I think.
Oh, dude, no. Feral flying pig is money, bro.
Yes.
Yep, Robusto fan. Cool.
Robusto fan. Yes.
See, for my Undercrowns, I like my Corona Viva size. It's usually my go-to in Undercrowns.
So as people are looking at how they, what they smoke, how they smoke, and they're in this journey of how do we find the right size for the right occasion? What are your tips?
It's funny, man. Just like anything else, it's all about palate. It's about mood. Really not too different than wines and spirits and everything else. Like if you were first coming in and you haven't drank before, you probably wouldn't have a 151 rum. And you go fall down your stairs and break stuff. So you probably wouldn't smoke a feral pig as your introductory smoke. But as your palate matures, again, just like we're talking about wines and spirits, your palate's going to mature when it comes to cigars. So when people first come in, I recommend that they smoke something mild. Like if you're going to smoke something that's traditional, I tell them smoke an Undercrown shade, which is just like our friend Dean is smoking, except in a Connecticut shade.
Right.
So lighter. Nothing that's going to knock a first, second, or third time smoker on their keister, or the next time they see me, they tell me to go F myself because, they couldn't find their legs kind of thing. And like I said, very much same thing that we get wine, spirits, and liquors, right? So tell them, start out with something lighter. And then, you're going to smoke a bunch of Connecticut shade cigars. You might smoke something from the acid line because it has those floral bouquets. They're lightly sweet and everything else, or maybe naturals, which is pipe tobacco, very, very sweet, wonderful aroma, something that's not really going to knock you out. And then you start moving your way through and you start moving your way up. So same kind of thing. And when it comes to sizes, I got to be honest with you. It's very much dependent on the smoker. You're going to find people that like these big 8x80 sticks. I mean, for me, that's not for me. Other people, love and swear by them, I typically don't smoke a ring gauge probably bigger than a 54 9 out of 10 times. Every now and then I'll smoke something that's a 60. D has the Muwats, the 7x60s, and it stood for my Uzi weighs a ton. Great stick, medium, full body. It was actually made in Hoya, Nicaragua's factory, who we do distribution for. Drew Estate does distribution before. But for me, I'm not a really big ring gauge guy. I'm a Corona guy. I told you, I'm a guy who loves a good Lancero. And again, I'll smoke a Robusto. I'll smoke something 52 or 54 ring gauge, but it's really a personal thing. Like I said, some people will be happy. You puff on an 8x80, take them an hour and a half to smoke. They're super stoked about it. It goes to really what you like. So with me, I'm like, hey, if you like wine in a box and puffing on White Owls, you got to do what your palate dictates, what you like.
Right. I agree. It's just like with whiskey, Matty. I agree. It's all about what you like. Smoke what you like what you smoke. Same with drinking. There's people that like all types of bourbons, all types of complexities. Someone saying,
well, it's mood. Like for you, it's probably a tough question to ask you. What's some of your go-to drinks? And it'll probably be a half a dozen different things,
right,
depending on your mood, what you've been eating, what you've been smoking. if you want to tell everybody out there, what are some of your go-to things?
Oh yeah. Oh, well, I mean, this one was kind of a new one. I mean, I knew this. We saw this recipe for the Robert Burns. We'd done some Rob Roy's. We'd done some other Scotch cocktails, Blood and Sands. But I saw this with a little bit of absinthe. I thought, this isn't fun. I'll try it. But it's all about finding those ingredients. I mean, I'm a big fan of Manhattans, of Old Fashions. I love Negronis on the gin side, but the Boulevardier is a take on the Negroni, which is vermouth, Campari, and a rye whiskey or a bourbon whiskey, which I think the Boulevardiers just work so nicely. You want a good, really good, strong cigar, I think, to hold up to that. But you were mentioning the Hoya de Nicaragua. You will have a variety of the Hoya line. Tell us a little bit about that line. Now, that's a really fun one.
Hoya de Nicaragua is the oldest factory continuously running in Nicaragua. I believe it's from 1968 or 69. Obviously, their family with Drew Estate. We've been doing their distribution for years and years. And I got to tell you, man, some of the stuff they've done, especially lately for me, and I guess for our next show, maybe that's something that will light up.
Yeah.
They've been making absolutely amazing sticks. Hoya de Nicaragua CT, their Connecticut wrapper, won the top spot. They have something called the Uno, which is absolutely amazing. In commemoration of being around for 50 years, they had the Cinco de Scotus. Hard to get, but it's worth waiting for, man. Tremendous, full body, bursting with flavor. I'd have to go look through the blend again, tell you exactly what was put in there, but absolutely magnificent smoke. And then, you got the Cuatro Cincos, and then it's kind of cool because you go back to the history and the beginning stuff. You could smoke the regular, the regular flagship Hoya, 1970, the Antaños. There's so much in that lineup as well for people really to smoke from mild with the Connecticut all the way to their strongest stuff. And you get something for everybody in there. You get the dark Rojo. And I tell you, even me smoking is, this is my 30th year of smoking cigars. If I smoke a dark Rojo, quick smoking an empty stomach, I'll be looking for my legs. So strong, bursting with flavor. For people like that really strong, meaty, robust, full body, that's where you go. And maybe that's what we'll do on the next one. We'll talk a little Hoya de Nicaragua. I'll see if I could get maybe one of the Hoya guys on the horn, talk to you a little bit about that as well. But I'll make sure we put that in our lineup.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And you said the original one that Hoya did was the Antaño?
Yep, the 19. Remember when we were at the booth? So I gave you the 1970. So talk about going back to the beginning.
That was the original blend in 1970.
Yep. So I'll send you those. We'll smoke those up and talk about it.
Excellent. And how many different ones? I think someone had asked. How many different ones are there in the acid line?
Too many to count because you also have regionalized ones as well. So if you were to break it down, you were to go online. Obviously, the ones that you've heard of and the most readily available. You've heard of your Cuba Cubas. You've heard of your Blondies, but there's so many. There's deep dish, and then there's toast. I mean, it just goes on and on. Then you have ones that were specially made for stores, and it's cool when you're doing like the cultish thing, trying to search for some of these things that are only either somebody's shop or somebody's region. Like obviously, being a New York guy, there's something they had at Triborough that was actually like a in between a Longsdale and a. Call it in between a Longsdale and I'll say it's a Longsdale. Right. So that goes back. That's probably 12, 14 years old, maybe even older than that. But there's so many across that line, man. I mean, it's mind-boggling. You'll probably come up with 60, 70 different sticks, and then you throw in the ones that were made for stores. When you do JR, you'll see that they have the 10, and that's for being on Route 10 in Whippany. That's the big JR store in Jersey is on Route 10 in Whippany, so it's called the 10, which is kind of funny. So nice. Great smoke, yep, natural sweetness. But like I said, there's enough for somebody's going to find what they want to smoke. So if you're looking for an infused cigar, step outside your the box for those who have not smoked infused cigars. Remember, they're not flavored; they're actually infused.
They're infused.
So they're actually infused cigars. So if you're looking for something, it's a little bit different to what you've smoked if you haven't smoked one already. I love that. I love having them as an introductory cigar to people who have not smoked before, because that's not going to put you on your butt. You're going to learn the subtle nuances of cigar smoking. It's like I said, it's like your first drink is not going to be grain alcohol or 151. So you want to be very, very smart about your introduction to your smoking experience. So you might want to not smoke for a while.
Right. Someone is asking another question, Dean. And Dean, thanks for watching on Twitter. Are you a fan of the Tobacco Special? I personally love the Red Eye as a morning cigar.
Yep, there we go. So with the Tobacco, the Red Eye. So what Dean's talking about, that's their strongest on there. So it's a Maduro wrapper and actually has extra Ligero in there. So it's like a really strong espresso cigar. So yeah, it has a great snap in it, spicy. I mean, it really pops out in you. So you have that with an espresso. It's fantastic. But yeah, I like that. I like the Negras. Again,
yeah.
Negra is kind of its direct cousin without the extra Ligero in it with the Maduro wrapper.
Right. And Tim Minton, thanks again for watching. Tim says Drew Estate makes a great stick. The last one he had was the Java.
Yep. So Java is the stick that they make together with Rocky Patel that Drew Estate actually produces for Rocky Patel. But yeah, nice smooth stick full of coffee notes. It's another one. So it looks like next time we might have to make you make some kind of coffee cocktail there.
We're gonna. Wait, we have some really good coffee cocktails we've been playing with, so we definitely will do that for our coffee fans. And a lot of people having some great cocktails. Okay, I'm gonna shift to, and I'm loving this, and I'm gonna lay it to the side. I'm gonna shift to the Florida Sun Grown now, Matty.
Right on.
I know we're both gonna do a different cigar now, aren't we?
Yep. So much different cigar. That one is So the Florida Sungrown actually won Cigar of the Year at TPE out in Vegas last year.
Nice.
That cigar is blended together with Mr. Jeff Boyowitz, who owns Corona Cigar that's down in the Orlando area. And the thing that makes this such a neat cigar is Florida tobacco has been absent from the cigar scene for quite a while. So Jeff brought it back. Jeff worked with the blending, and the cool story in that, it comes from that tobacco comes from Jeff's farm. So if you were to go to the Orlando Barn Smoker, which is about 15, 20 miles outside of Orlando, that's actually on Jeff's farm with Jeff's tobacco that went into making the FSG.
That's his. Is it 100% his tobacco or just part of it? Or
no, I think I want to say I'm not sure what the actual breakdown is, whether it's a half a leaf. And one day I could see if I could actually bother Jeff for some of his time to get on here and give you the full story of the stick. But it's pretty fascinating. Again, last year it won Stick of the Year over at TPE. And for those of you who have not done a barn smoker yet, which is basically, from seed to finished product, the Orlando Barn Smoker, you're actually on Jeff's farm and you see Jeff's tobacco that goes into the making of your FSG, which is pretty cool.
That's
why I always suggest people try to at least take in one of those barn smokers. Any one of the 5, each one is a very, very different experience depending where you are in the country. But that one's pretty cool because, you're smoking the tobacco that came from Jeff's farm to make that. It's a
beautiful smoke. And of course, Corona Cigars there. Dave and my wife and I, we all went there about a year and a half ago. Great place. I love that place.
Right on. Good people.
Amazing place. Yeah.
Good people. Always happy when we get down there and visit with them. Hopefully sooner than later. Obviously, we were slated to have our Orlando Barn Smoker in May, but for obvious reasons, that's been postponed. So we'll see what the makeup day is on that.
Well, I love how nicely this Florida Sun Grown lit. I really like this cigar a lot. I mean, there's nice complexity.
So you're getting that little citrusy on there, right?
It's right there in the medium body. I really like that. Someone says they're watching, and I don't know where Frank, tell us, it probably must be enjoying the show, but not joining in the drinking, I guess, drinking or smoking. It's 10:30 a.m. there, so he must be maybe, where would that be? Would that be Australia? I don't know where would it be 10:30? Someplace a ways away. We appreciate people watching from all over the world, and we do this every night. Again, it's Bourbon Blog Live. The best way to find us is bourbonblog.com/live, and we've done it every day since the quarantine. And this is Matty's second time to be back on here in the last, this is about 3 weeks ago we saw you. Always trying something new. I'm actually going to pour another bourbon, actually one I just was able to get. This is one of the first bottles of this from Hard Truth Distilling in Nashville, Indiana. It is a bourbon that they sourced this. They're beginning to make their own stuff, but they sourced this and they finished it in their own rum barrels from Hard Truth, and really a splendid distillery, making all kinds of vodkas. They do a cinnamon vodka, which is actually great with a cigar. Gins, rums, and this bourbon has been finished in a rum barrel. I tried a little of this yesterday for the first time. I was blown away by it. And it's a beautiful distillery. They have a lot of property there, and I think it'll be a really nice compliment.
Close by you?
Yeah, no, about a couple hours away, about 2 hours away. Close to Bloomington, Indiana, where IU is. So really close to IU. Hard Truth. And my dad is watching. I see my dad watching. Thanks for watching, Dad. It's nice to have family sir. Watching.
Your
and
son's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Yes. So very nice. It's a light essence of the rum. That sugar coming up, really greeting the bourbon and really putting some nice sugars behind the caramel essence of that bourbon. Again, this one's not out yet. It will be later this summer. It might be a distillery-only release, but look for Hard Truth because they are doing some incredible stuff.
Righteous. Also, let everybody out there know, Tom, what your gig is, and after this all kind of frees up and people are allowed to, do things cool like going outside again. Tell them about how you educate the public on the cocktails and everything else.
Yes,
now they can get a hold of you to do events. Thanks
for that, Matty. And that's how Matt, I was doing some whiskey and cigar pairings there in Vegas when I met you. And I'm a whiskey journalist and educator. I started a website called BourbonBlog.com about 15 years ago, and we've been following the story, the rise of bourbon, the rise of spirits since then. And I can come to you wherever you are for your business, for your corporation, for your festival, and do a whiskey tasting, an educational class, whether it's pairing whiskey and cigars, whiskey and food. Log on to BourbonBlog.com or just shoot me an email at tom@BourbonBlog.com. We're already trying to line up some events far into the future, but we are already lining up some so that we can get back on the road and continue the whiskey education, which we enjoy so much. Doing whiskey events at whether it's Derby or in California or on the East Coast. So we've already missed some of them. Obviously, as you have, you would have probably been a lot of places by now, right, Matty? Before all this started.
Yep, Cigar Fest would have been next weekend. So that was out. We had a show that we didn't do in Virginia already. So April begins the busy season for us. So obviously, there's a big TBD sitting on that. So once we get these things figure out the whole social distancing thing. So sad as I am, I'm leery to give any dates. I'll be the first one to admit I have no idea. I don't even know what day it is. I think the hell do I know?
It's a happy day.
We just got to keep everybody safe. And that's it, man. Unfortunate, but like I said, we got to keep everybody out there safe. Got to do the sensible things. And, the famous saying is we're all in this together, and we are. So we'll get through it.
We will. And you know what? I think I guessed it correctly. I don't know how I did that. Frank is actually watching from Australia. He just told us. So he said 10:30.
Are you wearing that Seiko World Timer watch?
It's someplace around. I was thinking it must be someplace in that area.
Well played, sir.
Frank, thanks for watching. Definitely share this with your friends on Facebook now, Frank, in Australia. There's actually so many whiskey fans in Australia. We get emails from Australian friends all the time that just love bourbon. And there's a lot of expressions of bourbon that, only go to, say, Asia or Australia. So they get some things over there that we don't get, which is kind of fun. I actually saw an Australian mixologist on, I think it was Instagram the other day, using 100%. Also, he was using Australian vermouth and Australian bitters and even a special release Australian bourbon. And I was like, wow, some of that stuff sounds really good.
Aussies have good stuff, man. Even their wine with the Syrahs and everything else. So, yeah, man.
They do. They have really nice stuff. They have good palates. Frank, any favorite cigars you can find in Australia? We'd love to hear about it. So this is good. This bourbon's really working nicely. It's a really light touch, but I think it works so nicely on this Florida sun-grown. And for anybody watching, whether it's the Liga, the Florida Sun Grown, of course, some places are, I don't know, cigar shops. How are people buying cigars right now? Is it mainly online?
A lot of people online. You have a couple. There are cigar shops that will actually deliver to you. There are other cigar shops that, curbside, they'll come up to you. You order ahead of time, they'll come up to you.
Right.
So pretty much what I tell people is check out your local store, see how they're operating, see what they're doing. There's a lot of the big brand retailers that are shipping. Some of the smaller shops that usually have not shipped, that might have your favorite smoke locally. You might want to give them a quick call, but the ability to get your smokes is still out there. So, just as essential to me as anything else, because you'll see liquor shops here, man. They're essential. They're open.
Right.
So
right.
You'll find a way to get your smoke. So you're not going to be left without them.
One of the questions I've been asking distillers, whiskey makers, whiskey brands, or spirit brands the last few weeks is, how do you think that this period of time will influence the way that people, whether it's find their products, enjoy their products, what they enjoy? Any thoughts on how this COVID period is going to influence the cigar market and what people will smoke, how they'll find their cigars? Any thoughts?
Well, it's kind of funny, just kind of like what you and I are doing here. There's a lot of virtual herfs.
Yes.
So people's inability to be together in the same room, but through technology, everybody gets to be together. So people can talk about what they're smoking. So the technology in this instance is a blessing. So we could all reach each other, talk to each other, check in on each other, see what we're smoking. And in certain cases, I'm sure some people are going to pick up some extra knowledge, because you get a bunch of different people you would not normally have the opportunity to be around, that now we're all together. We're all local together in one room, so to speak, right? So in this virtual herf, everybody gets to talk to each other, see what they're smoking, perhaps talk about a brand that they haven't had before, or things of that nature. So at least we have that. And like I said, technology affords us that ability to still be able to smoke our cigars together, talk about what we're doing and what we're smoking. And it's a good way to all be there for each other in times that are pretty rough.
Oh, it really is. Have you seen a very large, like the biggest gathering of cigar smokers on Zoom or anything like that? Has there been a big smoke party that you've seen?
Yeah, Drew Estate throws online herfs. You'll get a whole bunch of people joining that to check in and everything else. And it gives that feeling of togetherness. Lets everybody know that you're not alone, so everyone can talk about what they're smoking. The Drew Estate crew will tell you about things that are coming out, things of that nature. JD will show up, have a chit chat with everybody, checking to see how everyone's doing. But like I said, that's the beautiful thing about wines and spirits and cigars is the camaraderie of it, and the ability to go out there and share with people. And especially in these times, by doing events much like this, nobody feels quite as alone. Everybody knows that we're all out there and we're looking out for each other's back.
Absolutely. And people can find out about those Zoom Drew gatherings on Drew Estate Facebook.
Yep. You can, check out Facebook, check out Twitter, check out Instagram. Those guys are always posting. So you're always going to find something that's going on or something within the current events. I've also said as well, if you're interested in checking out one of the barn smokers, from time to time, go to barnsmoker.com. And what you'll be able to do is go online, look for updates on when things are going to be rescheduled. Once they are rescheduled, you'll know exactly what's going on and when the tickets are released.
Excellent. Okay, I tried that hard truth. As you know, I'm a big fan of the Peerless, so I'm going to pour a little Peerless bourbon and try that. I think, again, this complexity that's sort of more of a medium-bodied, I would say bourbon. I mean, it has so many great sugars, so much great barrel. It's going to really complement this Florida Sun Grown. And if anybody has tried the Peerless Rye or the bourbon, tell us down below. I highly recommend it. It is in a great.
Dean is asking you about the Godfather. I don't know if you saw that down there.
Oh yeah, the Godfather Cocktail. Now this is the one. Okay, I think I did see this. To my recollection, this is one that has a bunch of. I think I'm right because I there's so many cocktails. I think it has like Jack and Jim and like one other in one cocktail, if I'm right. If I'm wrong, please tell me, because I should know what the Godfather Cocktail is. Do you know what it is, Matty?
I do not, sir.
I'm just going to Google it here, or have our friends that are watching us tell us what it is, because
my knowledge stopped at the Sazerac. Can you tell I'm getting old since the last time I've been pouring?
Okay, now if I'm not mistaken, this has a Scotch, a bourbon, and it says Scotch, amaretto, maybe some bourbon in it too. I will have to try one of these out, and I do appreciate. I think it has a little bit of everything in it. So I know there's another one that has like Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. That's the one I was thinking of, and maybe some Jose Cuervo or something like that. But I think this one is more Scotch and amaretto based. I'll try it. We're always coming up with new ones. I'm actually
Got to watch out. They're going to have you lining up kamikazes.
They are amaretto and Scotch. Okay, thank you, because this is okay. Three wise men. That's what I knew there was a wise and a father. So the three wise men is that one, which I haven't had for quite some time. But no, we'll have to try the amaretto Scotch. I do like Scotch cocktails. I also like Rusty Nails with a little touch of Drambuie. Those are nice too, with a little Scotch.
That's my boy Rob, who just jumped on there. So you two are going to need to have chit chat. So that's my boy out in Las Vegas right now. And you talk about the king of Las Vegas when it comes to wines and spirits. So make sure you two guys link up after this.
Absolutely. Great plan. No, I love it. Thank you, Rob.
Definitely reach out to Rob when we wrap. That's my boy.
Add me on Facebook or drop us a line on BourbonBlog Facebook. And if you are watching us for the first time, definitely add our page, like our page. Make sure you bookmark bourbonblog.com/live just to keep it easy. That's where we will always be. Here we go. I'm going to even show that. Look at this. Fancy graphics. Every night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Every night, Eastern Standard Time.
Pretty technology it is.
That's where we'll be bookmarked, because we're always doing something fun. And then tomorrow at I think it is at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be doing some brunch cocktails that we'll be excited to bring you. So we're going to do a brunch edition to mix things up a little bit. In future episodes, I'm going to have some folks on from Whistle Pig. We'll have my good friend Richard Patterson, master blender of the Dalmore, joining us live from Scotland. So we're just bringing people into this, and always one of my favorite people, though, to have join us is Matty Rock from Drew Estate Cigars, and it's always fun. You're always able to give us some great thoughts, great tips, and I tell you, this Florida Sun Grown just tastes better and better the more I'm doing it. Are you still doing the Liga, or are you doing another one there?
Yep, I'm still puffing away in the Liga.
Excellent. And you're also a fan of, and I am too, of it's the Pappy Van Winkle cigar, right?
Oh man, like I said, that's people go, you don't drink. I'm like, well, I imbue in my Pappy Van Winkle cigar. It's sitting next to me right here for those who haven't seen it. So it's got some Kentucky Fire cured tobacco in it.
Yes.
And it is infused with Pappy Van Winkle. So if you have not had the stick, something you should definitely take a look at. Really, really great stick. There's a traditional version, which has no infusion. And this is the infused version that I just showed you. I mean, for me, that's my go-to. I actually really enjoy the infused stick. Very, very special, very unique. And then you add that pinch of the Kentucky Fire cured tobacco to it. Makes quite the smoke. Highly suggest it. Maybe next time, Tom, that's what you'll fire up, and then you could maybe you can mix have a Pappy with some Pappy.
We might. I mean, if possible, it is tough to track down some Pappy, but I might be able to.
If there's anyone that knows a guy, I think you know a guy.
We might be able to figure out finding some Pappy. It could happen, and it's one of those things. The good news is, the Pappy Van Winkle cigars are rare, but I feel like if you're looking for the Pappy Van Winkle whiskey and you can't find it, if you can find a Pappy Van Winkle cigar as a gift for someone who's really been wanting that, it's a way you can say, okay, we found some Pappy for you. Dave, thanks again for watching. Great to see you both and your snippets of your personal passions. Dave, thank you for watching and all your support. So many great friends watching us tonight, and new friends, old friends. This is the way to do it. We're having a good time. What else has been going on with you in your world, Matty, since all this has been going on? I mean, I know you're enjoying some good cigars. You're joining people like myself to speak the great word of Drew Estate. What else are you up to?
Got to be honest, brother. Like I said, not a lot going on when you do promotions and private branding and talent management and all that. A lot is on hold right now. So I call it my time to reflect. I still have my other position where I do program management for a logistics company, and that's the only thing that's not sleeping because the trucks are still rolling, man. So we take care of all the systems that keeps the truckers trucking, picking up their chassis. So on that side of business, everything has been probably busier because you have people delivering different ways than they have before. Some of these big box places, other places are now looking to see what kind of logistics they need to do to get things from A to B. So, like I said, brother, crazy new world. It affects each person a little bit differently. I'll be happy when it gets over, it's over and done with. Everybody knows, hey man, you're out there, you feel bummed, shoot me a message or something, man. We're all out here to look out for each other. So you're feeling bummed, you're feeling a little depressed. I don't know if I'll make you feel any less depressed. You might feel better that you're not me. So that could work too. So, but we're all out here for you guys. Reach out to Tom. Tom will tell you some great cocktails or something. But in times like this, everyone's got to know that we're all out there for each other and we all got each other's back.
We are. And I am glad you said that. That's part of why we do this every night. It's not only just to have a great drink or smoke with you, but it's also just to find a way to put out something there consistently that's uplifting, that's fun. So thanks for being a part of that tonight, Matty. And always I appreciate your friendship, your passion, your support. And definitely check out these cigars, the two that I did tonight, the Florida Sun Grown, the Liga Privada number 9, so many others that we will be trying soon. Okay, one other question here. This is really a great question. Jason Williams, what stick would you pair with the 2015 George T. Stag? Okay, so that's a really big, bold bourbon, Matty.
Yeah.
That's
as soon as you say, as soon as I saw the Stag. So when you have something, I think but even though I don't drink any, we both agree, very, very full body, robust Stag. Would we agree?
Yes.
So for me, that's so if you're into the big boy drinks where you can take that full body and robustness, I think you could do something like a Feral Pig or something like that, or something in the Unico line and the Liga line. So you could do something like a 9 or a T52 or an L40, and then I think they'll pair beautifully with that. It's like I said, if you're going to have a robust drink full of flavor and really, really strong out there in the palate, I think that'd be a perfect matchup to one of those sticks that are in that Liga line. Anything in the Unico line would probably be a nice matchup with that. Anything in that,
I love it. I think that's a great idea. And if you have that bottle, wow, that's a great bottle to have. And whenever you crack it open, drop me a line. If I'm close to you, I'd love to come talk through the story of that with you and talk through the story of any bourbon. Drop me a line there. Let's go to BourbonBlog.
What he's really saying is drop him a cup 6 foot distance from him. So
I like that. I will. That's what he's saying. I mean, I have a pretty good wingspan here, Matty. I'll hold that out and I'll say pour it for me.
There you go. Keep that social distancing, baby.
Oh man! So if you all have been watching tonight, if you didn't get a chance to watch it all, go back through. If you did watch it, you liked it, share it on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. That helps us grow this. We love bringing more and more people into our great big family of having a good time. And we will be here again tomorrow. Just like I said, bourbonblog.com/live. And Matty, thank you for your support and for some great smokes with you tonight. Great conversation. And I want you to stay well there, my friend. I know it's not safe anywhere. I mean, we have to be careful, but you're there on the East Coast. We want you to be careful and be safe. I know you are.
Much love, brother. Thank you. Appreciate you. Are we doing this? Are we doing this next Saturday or the following?
Yeah, let's
Saturday?
do it. Let's do it next Saturday. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Next Saturday, tune on in. We'll see what Tom's gonna mix. We'll see what cigar. I ain't telling yet, so you'll have to.
We're gonna keep it a surprise for you.
So surprise. We're gonna see how many drinks Tom can pound before he slides out of his chair.
Cheers, Matty. Thanks, friends, for watching us. Thanks so much, Matty.
Much love, brother. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. Much love. You and your families be safe.
Everybody be safe. Thanks, Matty.
Peace
Appreciate y'all. And That was great. Excellent. Thank you so much for being with us. And we're going to be having the audios of all these on our podcast. So look for wherever you do your podcast, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, BourbonBlog.com podcast. Check that out. Cheers, friends.